come back to that. But we're saying Black Lives Matter, and we're getting fired up about it, and we get the attention of the brass and the mayor and everyone. We have a session, and all the police and law enforcement officers from the county, from the state, from the city are sitting there, and the question comes up about 6 times. Why is it Black Lives Matter? All lives matter. And some of you saying exactly to me. I didn't come to agree with you. I did not come to agree with you. I came to challenge you. Because we had to pick now. We didn't say Black Lives Matter. Now they want us to say all lives matter. And then we argue that one, and now it's my life matters. Then hands up, don't shoot. Get on the ground, I can't breathe. We are struggling for a message. Knowing that something is wrong. Why are we screaming, my life matters, all lives matter, Black Lives Matter? We're screaming it because someone is not getting it.
Right, right.
When someone stands up and says, I matter, my life matters, Black Lives Matter, all lives, whatever they're saying that someone is denying significance to your existence.
That's right.
That something in their behavior is causing me to feel like I am not significant. I matter. I was watching some reality show, and the friends. Can I move this? Because I have my own notes. You don't like me all hemmed up here. But I was watching a reality show, and the girl started fighting because she told her friend that you are a non-MFing factor. I didn't see that show. I closed it because I needed to move it. I'm sorry.
Look.
I messed you all up. Thanks, man. I mean, I'm still, all right, good. We're good. You can open it up now. But she said, you're a non-factor. And somehow they got so upset because you just relegated me to meaning nothing. And whether people say it or not, what they do makes you feel like you are appreciated or makes you feel like you don't belong even in the conversation. And we're here in Albany, in the A. We're in the center of the universe for the state of New York. And we've come to make our voice heard and to yell, scream, and holler, whether you're black, Hispanic, whatever. Somebody say, my life matters.
My life matters.
Now, the fact that people resisting us saying Black Lives Matter and they want us to cry that all lives matter is part of the problem.
Right.
Is that I don't have the right to make someone feel uncomfortable about me standing up and saying my people matter.
Yeah.
I have a connection with my people, and we suffer together under conditions that other communities are not subjected to. And so we've come here to yell at the top of our voices to someone who can do something about it. Somebody yell, my life matters.
My life matters.
Something is missing in the lives of those crying out that they matter. Someone's attention and response is provoking this lament in us. And I matter, we matter, our lives matter. I wanted to talk about what's missing before lunch, and it's a bad thing when you put me up like and I'm standing in between you and that wonderful meal. Like, as long as I take, every minute I take, every 5 seconds I take is between you and your sandwich.
Sandwich.
All right? So I'm going to try to be as brief as possible, but I want to talk about a couple of things that I've observed that are missing. And young people, I've come to really make you angry. I've come to provoke some sort of passion in you for life, because there are things going on around you that affect you that you seem to be totally unaware of. And if we can awaken your consciousness to the conditions you're living under and what's missing from your life, I think we've accomplished our goal today. My wife is an English teacher, 7th and 8th grade, and she put a test in front of one of her students yesterday. And it was one of those DBQs, the database questions or whatever. And the girl was reading through it, And she asks, Miss Hassell, please can you come here? Oh my God, I don't get this. And she lives in one of the poorest communities in the state of New York. The conditions in Notting Hill, where this young lady is from, are the worst in the state of New York. She says, Ms. Hassell, please can you come here? I'm having struggle with this question. Can you tell me what this word is? And the word was Poverty. Help your neighbor, tell him what the word is. Poverty. So once she told her what the word was, she says, what does that mean? Wow. She lives in the poorest neighborhood in the state of New York and did not know what poverty is. And truth be told, does not even know that she's poor. Fact is that we have been placated. We have been drugged with gadgets and small comforts that make us believe that we've arrived, and we don't realize that living from week to week, from paycheck to paycheck, getting an EBT card charged up is not living. That she didn't know what poverty was, and I wanted to talk about 5 things that are missing from our lives, and this is why our lives matter. That number 1, the basic needs. Basic needs are missing. Next week we fly to Flint, Michigan, and we're shipping 3. This is just a small part we're doing. We're shipping 3 tractor trailers of water, equating to 86,000 bottles of water to a city that had no water problems just 4 years ago. Wow. 60 miles from the largest body of clean water in the northern hemisphere. 60 miles from the largest body of clean fresh water in the northern hemisphere, and they have a water issue. That we have to ship water from New York to Michigan for them to wash it. It takes 9 bottles of water for one person to wash in a day. They take 2 baths a week. 9 bottles of water for one person to wash. They can't brush their teeth in the water because it breaks their mouth out because of the high lead content and chloride and other chemicals that are in the Flint water that was switched by their own governor. That's right, yeah. Because they were in fiscal emergency, state of fiscal emergency, the governor took the power to vote, their voting power. They voted their own council, their own mayor, and he nullified their democratic rights and powers and switched everything in their water system to a river he knew was contaminated. Somebody say basic needs. Basic needs. He did it because the tax base of that city had been routed by the car industry's failure. Yeah. They weren't able to pay the taxes, and therefore, to save $19 million, he switched their water to something that was killing them. They tell us 9,000 children have lead poisoning, which will have long-term effects and brain damage as they go through life. 9,000 children. You say, man, that's bad. But you didn't really hear the full statistic. There are only 9,000 kids in Flint.
What? That's every child? Wow.
87 cases of Legionnaire's disease in a city of 99,000 people. They wash in it and they break out in rashes. They gave them filters that don't work. Their government did that to them. It would have cost $100 a day, my brother, to treat the water in order to avoid the corrosion of the pipes. $100 a day. They knew it and refused to treat the water because it was only black lives and poor lives. Don't tell me all lives matter. I ain't mad, I'm just awake.
That's right. That's right.
Basic needs. Basic needs. Basic needs. It's missing. Not just in Flint, Newark, New Jersey. Same levels of lead poisoning in children, but it's not from the water, it's from paint. And the decaying infrastructure of their homes. Simple laws can change the trends, but they won't set them there because it's us that live there and not them. Argue with me if you want. Not just there, Yonkers. The schools are decrepit and falling apart. Nobody cares because when they desegregated the schools, there was white flight. City of 250,000 in the in the state of New York. Poughkeepsie, 57% graduation rate from high school. They don't care. Who doesn't care? Is the question. Is it us? Like the disciples, is it me?
My Lord.
I'm sorry, I'm a preacher. Everybody say basic needs.
Basic needs.
Not only are we missing, we're crying out Black Lives Matter because we're missing basic needs, but we're also crying out because we're missing brotherhood. Everybody say brotherhood. Brotherhood. Now, I'm not talking about us getting along with each other because that's a problem also. We fight each other. We kill each other. I was watching a movie with Denzel Washington and Jodie Foster called The Man Inside. Or Inside Man, whatever it's called. Inside Man, and he's a detective, he's a law enforcement officer, and he's there trying to figure out who's robbing the bank or whatever. Jodie Foster sits him on the bench and tells him that the world is not what he thinks it is. She says to him, this is how the elite think. They said, find blood on the ground and buy real estate.
Because it's going up for sale.
You see where crime spikes, gentrification follows.
Yeah, that's right. Wow.
Did y'all hear what I just said?
Yeah.
Where our young men's blood stain the sidewalks is where the developers will be in 15 years. Too much for the kids. I'm sorry. Brotherhood. But we need, let me tell you, there's a book by Dr. Joy DeGruy called The Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. You need to read this. You need to read Michelle Alexander's book, New Jim Crow. You need to read Cornel West's book, Race Matters. You need to read James Cone's books, The Cross and the Lynching Tree. You need to read books to understand that the world is not what they show you it is on television. YouTube them. Find some way to learn about the real. Okay, anyhow, so I was reading Joy DeGru's book, and she says that we're living in a post-traumatic slave syndrome, under the effects of post-traumatic slave syndrome, and it's the effects that slavery has had on the slave owners and the children of slave owners and the slaves and the children of slaves. And those of us who are in America don't even realize that there are remnants of the 1800s still operating in our communities.
That's right.
Are y'all still with me?
Yes.
I'm just trying to challenge you right now to understand that just because you got a new pair of Jordans don't mean you made it.
Yes, sir.
Just because you got an iPhone 6S Plus and you got unlimited internet don't mean life is good because you got a signal and a full battery.
My God.
Life is bigger than the 7-inch screen in your hand. Especially when you spend 50% of your day surfing the social media where it's your feed is full of foolishness.
Say it.
You watch more world star hip hop than you study. Anyhow, all right, I'm not mad, I'm just awake. Somebody say brotherhood. One of her books, she talks about cognitive dissonance. She talks about the fact that our society, y'all still with me?
Yeah.
She said that our society has had to set up mindsets and ways of thinking to help them to be all right with treating us and treating the black people wrong. You may not agree with this, but there's things that they do. They make us less than human in order to justify how they treat us.
That's right.
They'll watch on television. You'll watch. You'll watch after the Panthers lost, and who won? The Broncos won. The Broncos won, and so Denver.
Yes.
They are exuberantly celebrating the victory.
Yes.
Of their team, and they tear up the city.
Tear it up.
It's exuberant celebration because it's not us doing it. But if it was us, we are thugs and looters.
Yeah.
Because if they could label us a thug and a looter, then it could justify a military response to our gathering.
Yes, sir.
Truth hurts. They label us as animals. They put our models in animal prints. Whenever you see black models in large arenas, they label them and put them in animal prints to send a message that they're not quite human, but they're beautiful.
Wow. Wow.
They get us to twerk and they objectify us. Make us objects instead of humans.
My God.
They give us a number when they put us in the prison system.
Woo.
Which is really just a new slavery.
That's right.
We make their products, we make their furniture.
That's right.
We make their license plates for nothing. You're going, but this is how the world works. It's new slavery. You can't vote. You have no input in society because they objectified you. But here's what Paul wrote to Philemon. He says to Philemon, he says, your brother Onesimus, who was your slave, I send him back to you not as a slave, but as a brother.
Right.
Because you can't treat a brother like you treat a slave.
That's right.
America made us 3/5 of a man. You heard it? 3/5 clause. Because if they made us fully human, they could not justify how they treated us. Are y'all still with me?
Yes, we are.
I ain't mad, I'm just awake.
Oh, that's right. Stay awake.
But we begin to take on what they say about us, and they make us into animals, and so we begin to act as animals. Everybody say basic needs.
Basic needs.
Brotherhood. I
Brotherhood.
gotta get through this. Number 3, we're missing not just brotherhood, but we're missing brilliance.
Woo.
Somebody say brilliance.
Brilliant.
Black lives matter, all lives matter, because we're missing some brilliance. Not just the fact that we're not brilliant, because we are brilliant.
That's right.
We have the capacity
That's right.
to create and to succeed and to innovate and to change the world, but we are being robbed of it because our educational opportunities are subpar.
That's right. Come on.
You meet more metal detectors than computers in our schools. Too much. I'm sorry.
Come on, bring it.
You're right.
Bring it.
Go.
We got. They don't put. I'm sorry, but they don't put police officers in the schools of their children.
True.
They put them in ours.
It's true.
And we have contact and negative contact with law enforcement officers at very young ages because we are in proximity with them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And when we go to court, that we're treated in a way because of criminality. But if they had put those same officers in their schools, their children would have the same problems.
True.
Just saying what I'm saying.
True.
Brilliance. We have the right to an expected end.
Yeah.
We have the right to a bright future. We have a right to know that if I put my best foot forward, that I'm going to be able to succeed without boundary, without obstacle, without unfair treatment. We have the right to believe that if I do what the next man does, that I'm going to get what the next man got. But I heard Papa Pope say it this way: you got to be twice as good
Yeah.
to get half as far.
Oh, wow.
I ain't mad, I'm just awake.
Stay that way.
Let me see if I can move because you're going to sleep and you're hungry.
Oh, no.
You're meal right now.
We'll wait. Come
We
on.
got basic needs that are being ignored. Brotherhood. We got brilliance. Number 4, we are missing bounty. Everybody say bounty.
Bounty.
Bounty. You know, it's funny how they be like, well, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps.
Right.
You know, and I made it. But let me tell you some advantages that they had that we don't have. I ain't complaining, I'm just saying this is the truth. There's some advantages that you know, when your family in the South had the plantation and y'all were making profits off of the cotton and profits over the tobacco and making profits over the corn and all of the wonderful things that came from the ground, we were in the fields working for nothing.
Right.
And then when we got free, you set up another system to keep us in slavery called sharecropping. Sharecropping means that we work the land and we get a portion of it, but we had to borrow the seed, we had to borrow the fertilizer, we had to borrow the tools, and we had to rent the land. And when we finished borrowing and renting, the debt that we incurred took all the profit, and therefore we were still working the land for nothing. This is why we had to eat the chitlins and the collard greens and the hog maws, because we still had to eat the crap that they threw away because we couldn't afford to have the better cuts of meat. Y'all gonna hear me? Maybe it's too much. I'm sorry. But and when sharecropping was over, then we had other obstacles to overcome. When we now were able to work in the field and work in the industries that were formed, then we have the fact that we can't buy houses because they redline our districts. They find reasons not to qualify us for mortgages because of this and that and all kind of other obstacles. We have redistricting, that when we do put an officer or someone in the place that we voted in, the next time the cycle comes around, they switch the district so that our vote is nullified. Then in the middle of the game, we think we got things going, and they go in the back room and change the game. They change the rules in the middle of the game. All right, I think I got like 5 amens right there. Can you come to my church right now? That's right. Amen. That's it. All right. Bounty. Somebody say bounty.
Bounty.
That when their families passed away, they had inheritance to give them.
Here we go.
But my papa was a Rolling Stone.
Wherever he laid.
Wherever he laid his hat.
What's his
And
song?
where did he die? All he left us was alone. Can I tell you when I was a kid? When I was a kid, I heard that song. And I didn't understand what they meant by leaving us alone. I thought that it meant that he left us in debt. That we got kids right now, fourth grade, and their credit is bad.
Yes.
They got the light bill in their name.
Crazy.
Because of mistakes of their parents. We got to do better about passing on to our children wealth. And it doesn't mean that I buy you Jordans and you feel wealthy. I'm saying no Jordans and we put money in a savings. I'm saying no cell phone when your grades are below the speed limit. It's crazy how poor children have a sense of entitlement. Entitled to what? Being broke?
He is too deep. Uh-oh.
So, we're missing that. Last but not least, and I'm done. But that's the Baptist preacher. You know it's a trick. It's a trick. It's not just bounty. The fact that wealth disparity in our country is worse than it was before the Civil Rights Act of 1968.
Wow. Say it.
The fact that the distance between the net worth of a white family and that of black families is worse than it was when we got the Civil Rights Act approved. Net worth is the difference between the value of what you own and what you owe.
Right.
$248,000 is the average net worth of a white family.
Uh-oh.
What's ours?
I knew you were supposed to say.
Just tell them it ain't 248,000.
It ain't. It ain't.
But when you die, you got bins full of Gucci knockoffs.
Come on, sir, help us.
We own no land. We own no property, but we're killing each other over blocks. That's ours.
Project.
It's your block, buy it.
Buy it. Then fight for it.
I gotta finish. It's not just bounty that's missing. It's not just basic needs. It's not just brilliance. It's not just brotherhood. But last is beauty. Beauty is missing from our life. Somebody say beauty.
Beauty.
But beauty, not in the sense that you've come to understand it. There is an inherent. Someone say inherent.
Inherent.
There's inherent and emanating beauty in the golden rule. You reap what you sow. The golden rule, do unto others
as you would have them do unto you.
As you would have, they call it karma. So whatever they call it, there's a beauty in it, because beauty is universal beauty, as opposed to local beauty, is based on balance and symmetry. Balance and symmetry. I'm really almost finished here. Real beauty is based on balance. See, I think America, the beautiful, has been called beautiful because of what side of her face someone was standing on.
That's right.
That I think America right now is she's beautiful on, she got a good side. Depending on where you live and the color of your skin. That if you took a picture on this side, she was dope.
That's right.
You got this side?
You know what?
On this day, she had advantage. On this day, she Wanda.
She who?
On this side, she Denzel. Then on this side, she Flavor Flav.
Oh my.
You're not ready for that. I think America, she could be more beautiful, but when you look her straight on, the imbalance and the asymmetry of her face, she needs some work.
Some work done.
Yeah, her grill on this side, straight. But on this side, toe up from the flow up, make me want to throw up. There's eminent beauty. And this is where I'm going from. Because balance and symmetry is missing in our country, because if I sell crack,
Come on.
or sell cocaine, just powder cocaine,
Yeah.
they're both coke.
That's right.
If I sell coke and get caught with it, I get
5 years, 3 years.
2 years maybe.
Yeah.
Crack, 20.
So true.
Only difference between the two is Armor and Hammer baking soda.
That's very true. Sad.
You're not really hearing what I'm saying to you.
No, we have it.
It's because the drug of choice, the cheaper way, you stretch it. See, I see crack as like it's Coke with macaroni in it. Somebody want to stretch it. They put something in it. And so the government, under our favorite Bill Clinton, made it more somehow, and it started with Reagan, but Clinton really nailed us. I ain't saying who to vote for or nothing, but I'm saying just wake up. But he nailed our community by making drug offenses equal to murder.
That's right.
Three strikes and you're out of here, he says. For good. You got brothers and sisters, cousins and uncles right now in jail for selling crack. And there are people who murdered, killed, stole billions of dollars who are getting out.
Very true.
I know I'm telling the truth.
You are.
I know I'm telling the truth. Everybody say balance.
Balance.
There's a heavy hand that we die for running. Unarmed run. Like we're still in slavery. Y'all remember slavery? They send the hounds. Ooh.
Yeah.
Because a runaway slave was a threat to the economy.
My Lord.
And so when we run, they still think that we're going to kill something because we ran. Am I telling you not to run? Am I telling you not to run? I'm telling you, let's find a new way to make America beautiful again. I know Trump is saying let's make it great again. Like Obama didn't bring my gas prices back to $1.
Yeah! Come on, Barry.
Make it great again. The stock market is the highest it's ever been. Make it great again that in our communities, Obama has funded more of our programs that have been funded in decades.
Yes, sir.
But when I go to the conferences in Washington, D.C., for years I've been going and I see, I used to see faces that didn't look like me in charge, but now that I go, it's all of us in charge. Make it great again for who? How about we not try to make it great again, and how about we make it beautiful again? How do we do it? I'm glad you asked, and that's my hooping stage. Can I have 5 more seconds, Mike? All right, you got that foot out there. Come on. I've come to challenge you, not to complain about it, but I need someone here to decide that I am going to be the one to change it.
That's right.
Somebody say, I'm an agent of change.
I'm an agent
That
of
this
change.
generation needs to get serious about their education so that they can bring innovation. Our communities don't need grants. We need jobs.
That's right.
We don't need someone to come from the outside to hire us. We need us to get the courage to create new products and build and manufacture them in our communities and hire our own children and our own brothers and sisters to create new fashion trends, to create new technological breakthroughs, to create new drug treatments and new cures for disease. Anybody here say I'm ready to innovate?
I'm ready to innovate.
Not just innovate, but we need some folks to put aside profit and decide I'm going to legislate.
All right.
I want to be the ones making the laws. Because the truth be told, the laws are stacked against us.
That's right.
Not just legislate, but I need somebody to stand up and advocate for those who don't have a voice to
Yeah.
themselves. Not just advocate, but elevate. Somebody say elevate.
Elevate.
Not just elevate, but educate.
Educate.
Not just educate, but dominate.
Dominate.
I don't know who I'm talking to today, but I need someone to get stirred up in your spirit and decide that I'm going to dominate whatever field I go into.
That's right.
Yeah.
Bow ties impress me.
Yes.
Take that discipline, take that sharp look, and go and dominate. Don't let it be a costume. Let it become for you an open door so that when you get in, you take over. Not just dominate, but imitate. Imitate who? Imitate our Lord. I'm a firm believer that the greatest example we ever had in history was our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Many people have it twisted. They think that religion is a bunch of rules and a bunch of do-nots and thou shalt nots, a bunch of ceremony and meaningless stuff and hypocrisy. But the greatest example of religion was in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. When he stood up to do his first sermon, he says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me.
Yeah.
Because he has anointed me to preach good tidings, good news to the meek. And he has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted. He sent me to proclaim liberty to those who are imprisoned. Yes, he says the opening of the prison to them that are bound. To proclaim the year that God accepts those who have not been accepted. He says that on him was a calling and a mantle to proclaim the day of vengeance of our God on those who have robbed others of justice. He says to comfort all of those who are mourning losses caused by those who have taken advantage of them. He says to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give them beauty for ashes. To give them the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they may be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. And they who hear this message shall build the waste places.
That's right.
They shall rebuild Mount Vernon and Yonkers and Far Rockaway and Albany and Rochester and Syracuse and Buffalo. They shall rebuild those places. They shall raise up the former desolations. They shall repair the waste cities and the desolations that came from many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks,
right.
and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. Take the call, become agents of change, make America beautiful, oh beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plain. America, America. God shed his grace on thee. How many believe that this country can become our country also? Make America beautiful. Thank you for this opportunity to share my life matters. Come on, let's give a big round of applause for our speaker.
Be first.